This video is about indices, specifically negative indices. So to remind, these are the rules of indices, and we are going to be dealing with negative indices, which can be written down in a fraction form and as 1 over a to the n. So it's also important to take note that any base raised to the 0 power is equal to 1. And any base raised to the first power can be written as just the base without the power 1. These are some examples. So we need to simplify a square divided by a to the fifth. A square just means a times a, and a to the fifth means you see a 5 times multiplied together. If the numerator and denominator are the same, you could cancel them and change it to 1, because anything over itself is equal to 1, and the same with the second set of a's. So on the numerator, we just have 1 times 1, which is 1, and for the denominator, we have a times a times a, which is a cubed. So 1 over a cubed could be written down as a to the negative 3. It just means that if the power is negative, the denominator has a bigger power. Or we could just follow the second rule of indices, wherein we subtract the indices. So the index of the numerator is 2 minus 5, you have a to the negative 3. So let's convert these indices into fraction form. So if we have m to the negative 3, that can be rewritten as 1 over m to the positive 3. So if you have 2 to the negative 1, so remember, whole numbers or letters have an invisible 1 as a denominator. So 2 to the negative 1 can be written as 1 over 2 to the positive 1. So we don't have to write the 1 as a power. So it's just 2. So we have 1/2. 5y to the negative 2. Only y has a negative power. So you leave the 5 in the numerator. And y, you could y to the negative 2, write it down as a denominator. So you have 5 over y to the second power. So if you have 2y bracket to the negative 3, the whole thing is raised to the negative power. So there's an invisible 1 here as denominator. So we get the reciprocal. That means we flip it. So the 1 goes to the top and the 2y goes to the bottom with the negative 3 power changed to positive. Now let's look at some more examples. We're going to write these fractions into index form. 1 over w to the fifth can be written down as w to the negative 5. And if you have 3 over x squared, so if you want to write it as index form instead of a fraction, the x squared goes to the top and it becomes negative. So we will have 3x to the negative 2. If you have 3x squared over y to the fourth, only y is in the denominator. So when we change that to the top, it becomes negative. So we will have 3x squared y to the negative 4. Now we're going to write some indices in fraction form. If you have 4 to the negative 2, that means 1 over 4 squared, and 4 squared is 16, so you have 1 over 16. If you have 2/3 raised to the negative power, so negative power means you're going to get the reciprocal of that fraction. Reciprocal means the denominator and the numerator change places. So the denominator 3 now becomes the numerator, and the numerator becomes the denominator, and the power change from negative to positive. So if your power is 1, you just leave the 1 out, and we have 3/2. So if you have 7/2 raised to the negative 2, get the reciprocal of 7/2, and that becomes 2 over 7, and the power negative 2 becomes positive 2. So the whole of 2 over 7 is raised to the second power. So that means the numerator 2 is squared, and the denominator 7 is also squared. 2 squared is 4, and 7 squared is 49. So you have 4 over 49. So next, if you have 12a cubed over 6a to the 7th, you're going to deal with the constants first. So 12 over 6, which will give you 2. And for the base A, so you subtract the indices 3 minus 7, which will give you negative 4. We can rewrite it down in a fraction form of 2 over A to the positive 4. So let's do some exercises. While you're working out, I want you to press the pause button and press play again when you're ready to see the answers. And these are the answers. For number 1, 2 to the negative 4 can be written down as 1 over 2 to the 4th. 2 to the 4th means you see 2 4 times multiplied together, and that's 16. So your answer to number 1 question is 1 over 16. For number 2 question, you have 1 over 7 to the negative 1. So negative power means you get the reciprocal of 1 over 7. So that means you flip it. So the 7 becomes your numerator, and the 1 becomes your denominator, making it 7 over 1 or just 7. For the third question, you have 5 over 3w bracket to the negative 2. So we flip the fraction. We have then 3w over 5 bracket squared. So that means the whole fraction will be squared. 3w will be squared as well as 5 squared. So 3w squared means 3w times 3w, giving you 9w squared, and 5 squared is 25. For the last question, only a is raised to the negative 3 power. So that means you're going to simplify the 18 and 2. 18 divided by 2 will give you 9. And a, you subtract the power because it's division. So negative 3 minus 7, that will give you a negative 10. It can also be written down as 9 over a to the positive 10. I hope you got your answers right, and thank you for watching.